Wednesday morning. Hey, everybody, what's going on? This is Jeremy coming at you once again with Redtired podcast, and he's so sweet. I love him so much. I can't believe that they stack it actually that tall, but he's back again. Big Bomber Bill tonight. What's going on, Bill? How you doing, buddy?
Man, I'm feeling so good. I'm here. I'm alive. It's been okay of a day, but I'm alive and I'm here. I'm just so happy to be on your show again.
That was really expressive, flamboyant.
So you want to do this right now? Okay, you know what? How about I just leave your show? No. You want to do it? You want to do it? Let's do it. I don't have no friends, so
well,
where else would I go?
That's how I run off all of my special guest hosts. I really got to quit doing that. Special. Yeah. Well, I mean, you are a special guest. I really enjoy.
I'm okay.
I enjoy having you. You bring different perspectives into a lot of the stuff that I would have never thought about. So that
I bring some kind of perspective.
That's what we're shooting for, Bill. So, how's your day been, man? What you doing? You do work today?
I donated plasma. Then I came home. I had some lunch, played some video games, and watched YouTube. And as usual, I existed. I got my sister-in-law's Christmas gift in.
Your actual sister-in-law or your upcoming sister-in-law?
Oh, I got her Christmas gift a while ago already. So that's all right. I've been scared. I got the official sister-in-law.
The actual sister-in-law, not the sister-in-law.
Yeah, the one that got. Yeah, the one that unfortunately married Eric. So
big mistake.
She could have done better.
Eric, if you're listening, sorry. She could have done
better. Yeah. I'm not sorry. But I got her Christmas gift in. That's really all I got to report on my front.
You live a very exciting life. You know that?
I live a bachelor's life.
You live an amazing life.
It's all right.
It's okay. Now, I will take a moment to point out that I think you should do something about those walls. I don't know if I like the communist green that you got going on back there.
But the state chose them for me.
Oh, okay.
It's the state.
The state?
The state knows everything.
The state?
Yeah.
By the state, do you mean your landlord?
The Greater Soviet Union.
Okay.
AKA my mom and my dad.
My mom and dad. I live at home with my mom and dad. Shut up.
Yeah, don't make fun of me. I'm saving a fortune while I'm in school.
It's true, and it's a very intelligent thing to do. It's a lot of people have this sense of pride that they're trying to admit, like, well, I'm an adult, I can do this on my own, I don't need anybody's help. And you know what? That pride actually gets in the way, and it ends up costing you a lot in the long run. Now, for those of you who don't know, Bill is a full-time college student. He did serve.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, he did serve in the military, and just in case you haven't heard any of the description from previous podcasts, he did serve in the military. He did serve a tour in Afghanistan, so he comes home, he gets to use his Montgomery GI Bill, and ironically, his parents literally live right across the street from the university. God.
It is. I literally, and I think when I'm like, oh yeah, they live across the street, I think people are like, oh, they live in the general area. No, it is a street. It is a street, and I'm on the campus property.
You could spit on it from your front yard.
Dude, you get a guy who yeah, man. Dude, we're right across the street from the sign of the school.
That's right. It's right.
That's how close it is. It's a great walking distance. That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And you save a small fortune in gas by not having to start your car. You just walk to class.
And this has allowed me to take off that last year of school so I can go and do stupid stuff and make dumb decisions.
Not buying gas?
No. Doing this. Staying with my mom and my dad.
Oh, yeah.
This. I probably should have been more specific.
Yes.
This right here has saved me up. Has saved me such money. Yeah, I don't need to work.
Yeah.
And so I think that's one thing people are like, well, isn't the GI Bill meant to pay for school? Yeah, but it's meant to replace the missing income
Yeah,
from
the GI
being a
Bill is a
full-time
little bit
student.
more complex than a lot of people really do understand.
Yeah.
They're just like, well, you get to go to school, but you still have to, no, it's not that complicated. It's like you make everybody makes these things so complicated.
Yeah.
And you're on post 9/11, right? Or are you?
No, I'm on Montgomery. I'm actually starting post 9/11. I have like an extra year of it, so next semester I will be starting that.
Okay, so when I was on the GI Bill, I used the Montgomery. I was
Yeah.
eligible for post 9/11, but I never used it because I didn't need it.
Yeah.
But I used the Montgomery, and I still worked. I just looked at all the extra money that did come from after I paid for books, tuition, and things like that. I took that extra money and I applied it towards other more important things. It's weird how the government does these things, but they're like, well, this is what we're going to give you for school. Well, that's cool and everything, but the school only costs X amount of dollars. Yes, but here's what we're going to give you. Okay, like I'm going to fight with the government on that.
I said it. I said it. Okay. All right. Got it. I got a check from the government for reimbursement for going to a doctor's appointment. This literally was not even a mile away from my house. It is literally, let's see, my house, down Johnson, up Knickerbocker, turn at that fire station that's by that tropical place, and you're there.
Okay.
Boom. 5 minutes.
Right.
Boom. There. They sent me a $6.25 check.
Mileage.
Yeah. I had to go down the street to a doctor's appointment. Literally down the street, 2-minute drive. 84-cent check. And it's always funny because, I'm just like, what? Who taught y'all math?
Direct deposit does exist, buddy.
I don't know why they don't direct deposit to me. I don't know, but I try not to do any paperwork with them because it's usually this. If I have to call them for my information or check on something, which it's the government, so yeah, it's gonna happen. They have my name stored because each department has my name stored in differently. They either have it Tin Ike with a space in the center or Tin Ike with no space in it. And I don't know how that's not universal, but each department does it a little differently.
But you've got a very difficult name too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Now,
and
so the only reason that I know how to spell it is because I've asked so many times. And now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the space is actually the appropriate spelling.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And if they're like, well, spell your last name, please, sir. I'd be like, oh yeah, TNEYCK. That's not pulling up. Okay. TN space EYCK. Oh, here it is. It's like, okay, great.
Your name breaks the rules of English. We don't talk like this. Dear Mr. Ike.
Deserve this. Yeah. Yeah, it's a testimony to how dyslexic my family is.
Are they all dyslexic? Okay. Good job.
Yeah.
And you're off the Christmas. Bill outed us all on podcast. He's off the Christmas. I ain't buying him nothing.
You know what? I'm just going to keep all his stuff.
Yeah. I had that nice little Benchmade knife that I was going to give him. It's mine now. Yeah. So,
let's face the fact, I was going to keep it anyway.
So anyway, back to the original point. Because we meander a lot when you and I talk, and I love it. But the original point was you do live at home with mom and dad. Now, this is not a millennial living in the basement kind of a situation. Bill actually pays for his bills. He actually covers his expenses out of, mom and dad are not supporting him. He pays rent.
Yeah, I pay my rent. Pay a little extra for groceries. I pay my car insurance. I pay my phone bill.
You carry your weight.
I mean, yeah, they're always like, I got to cook supper tonight. And I'm like, what am I going to do? Tell mom and dad no? I mean, like, I'm not a jerk.
Don't worry. I can bleep all that out. Did I get that right? Jerk?
Yeah. Yeah. Let me just, how do you spell that?
I don't know how to spell that. But anyway, so there's nothing wrong with doing things the right way, so long as you're not that millennial that stays in mom and dad's basement and just lives off of Cheetos and plays Xbox all day long. No, Bill is actually trying to do something to further himself, to make himself a better person. and he's actually going through into a very respectable field, law enforcement. And we love our law enforcement here at Redtired. We love our police officers, first responders. His brother's an EMT. His other brother, he was in the Air Force, so
I don't know what he's doing. He's
God
probably
only knows what he does. But Bill, hats off to you, man. You're doing things the right way. You're not trying to.
But you're not wearing a hat.
Just because it's off.
You're not wearing a hat. But,
it's off to you.
Oh, okay. All right.
Follow me here.
I'm following you.
You're like a dog chasing its tail. I don't understand what's going on. I don't know what to do. And
then when I catch it, I'm like,
ow, that hurts.
What do I do?
So, funny story today, Bill.
I love a good funny story.
Donald Trump has a sense of humor. And I know how much everybody just loves talking about Trump.
This guy. Yes, he does.
So, reported by NBC News, Trump pardoned Thanksgiving turkeys have already received subpoenas. At the annual White House event Tuesday, the president joked that the birds have already been summoned to appear in Adam Schiff's basement on Thursday. Boom. Does this guy have a sense of humor?
Got him.
So,
now, I remember when you first told me this, I was like, I heard it and I was like, is Trump making a stab? Like, is he making a joke with all the kind of the random here BS and stuff going on? And you're like, yeah. So I wanted to ask because that's what automatically my mind went to was that. But then I wanted to just make sure because you know me, I'm retarded. But Adam Schiff, that guy was the
chairman of the
there we are
of the impeachment hearings that we just went through. So basically, he was the quote unquote big dog who was leading the investigation into the possibility of impeachment. And it's all just a show, though.
He's the one that had all the evidence showing that Trump had done something wrong. Oh, then why would he do that then?
Well, the problem is there isn't any evidence.
Yeah.
Unless you watch CNN or MSNBC, in which case the evidence is everywhere. And if you can't see it for yourself, then I don't know how to help you.
Yeah.
That's the responses that I keep getting from this whole thing. But
what?
Yeah, I know you're surprised, right?
Well, I have some evidence here.
Oh,
I have some evidence here. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Man. That's all the evidence you need right there. Actually, we need some paper. Impeachment. Impeachment. Read it. Impeachment. Can you just imagine that? Sir, what can I get you today? Impeachment. Sir, this is an Arby's. We're gonna need you to chill.
Listening and not watching the video on YouTube, Bill is literally holding up a white pad that says impeachment on it and like waving it in front of the camera. See, he's even got the paper noise and everything. That's enough of that.
Impeachment.
So, but I gotta respect this because Trump is like he's been bulletproof for the most part. I mean, everything they've thrown at him, he's just like, it doesn't matter. Everything is going to be great. It's going to be huge. Wait till we get this deal with China. Right? Everything's mannerisms. So, but he's everything is just like bounced off of him to this point, and I just like the swamp is not working.
Yeah, it's kind of what you want to see in a president because in that position, no one's gonna like you much. You're a politician and you're a president. No one's gonna like you much, but he's doing really good. He's like, I mean, come on, it's just funny. It's just so stupid. It's funny.
It is,
and it's just like, I mean, like. It's a good tactic too, because if he would have sat there and started bickering and arguing with them, then that would have just given them some more ammo to work with. Instead, he's like, "Okay, what are you gonna do to me? Like, come on, like, bring it."
Well, it's simple psychology. I think a lot of people don't give Trump they don't give him any respect where it's due. Trump, he understands psychology because I mean. I'm not saying that I know Trump personally, but I can tell just by his mannerisms and some of the things that he says Like this, for example, the impeachment hearings, he's minimizing it. He's like, no, I'm not going to show up to the impeachment hearings. What for? Why? They're not going to do anything of any substance.
So they tried to get him to show up?
Yeah, I think they did.
Wow, I had no idea, because that's just, again, a testimony of just, I thought it was just dumb,
but
I didn't think there was anything solid.
Right, but it takes it,
watch
but he takes it a little bit like a step further, and he says, I'm going to pardon these turkeys and make a joke out of it. And Adam Schiff is the butt of my joke, right? So what is he? Psychology here. Psychology kicks in, and automatically you see he's taking the problem, right? This big impeachment inquiry, and he's going, it's not that big. It's not huge. It's not China. It's not a huge deal, right? He minimized the whole thing. He made it small, put it in this little box, made a joke out of it, then pardoned some turkeys. And people are like, I swear to God, people are going to be outraged about this as soon as they find out about the whole, he's making fun of Adam Schiff and he's not taking his job seriously. Blah, blah, blah. He doesn't have to take the job seriously anymore. Have you seen the economy?
Yeah. 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 That's a good point right there. It's a good point. People are going to be like, well, justice is a big thing. Yeah. Okay. As soon as y'all actually show some proper justice working here and not just throwing around random BS, then I'll show you some respect. But you're going to be the bottom of my joke all the time, because you guys are doing this. This is just, you've showed, it's kind of a good example of the Democratic Party. And again, I may have mentioned it before, just that Adam dude, the big boss in charge, sitting there in the center of the whole thing. And I remember just sitting there for a couple minutes looking at him, and he was just like, yeah. And his eyes looked glazed over. His eyes. I was just, right. And he's weird moving. And I was like, that guy is weird. Let's go watch cartoons. Click. And I changed the channel because I just thought it was stupid. But it is kind of a good example of the whole hearing thing, was just kind of just a joke, just like kind of the Democratic Party is right now with the way that they're going.
And what's crazy is he's just kind of riding the rails with however this is going. I mean, the roller coaster is going to go whichever way it wants to go, and he's just like, I've been on a roller coaster before. Let's just ride this thing and see where it goes. And it's been working out really great for him. In fact, more and more, I just keep seeing like there's more and more people that are coming out of the woodwork, and they're putting on their MAGA hats, and like ignoring the whole, don't you know that hat is racist? No, it's not. Shut up. It's a hat. It's a hat. Well, it represents something that's racist. What? The president. The president's racist. Where's the evidence for that? Well, if you can't see it, then I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, there's a video on YouTube or something like that, and it was like liberals at like an impeachment hearing for Trump or something, and there's a girl, she was a conservative YouTuber or something like that, and she was like, okay, well, let's ask them. Obviously they're smart, so they should have some proper evidence and some proper reasoning about this. And so she would go and answer them, and like people would just like be like, I know what you're doing, get out of here. And she's like, I'm just trying to find some reasoning here. And like she finally just was like, yeah, you want to get rid of Trump? And they're like, yeah, let's get rid of Trump. And like, yeah, let's impeach him, let's put Pence in charge. And they're like, what? No, we don't want Pence in charge. No, well, he's the vice president, that's how that will work. Oh, well, I think we should just have a re-election. That's not how this whole system works. What? No. So like, it was just kind of funny watching them do that.
It is. It's a strange thing too, because you get like when you take into account, like everybody's like, well, we just got to get Trump out. But
okay,
then,
well, where's it going to go from here?
But then, okay, so there was a meme that even came out. It was like, okay, yeah, go ahead, remove Trump. Pence then pardons Trump, and then resigns after assigning Trump as his VP. And then Trump becomes president after Pence resigns. And then Trump takes Pence back on as his VP. And things were right back where they were. And so, I mean, it was a meme. It was funny, but at the same time, you got to look at it like you're wasting. Like, no matter how you cut this, however you slice this thing, you're wasting valuable tax dollars on nothing that's going to get done. Bill Clinton was I mean, he was playing swallow the leader in the White House, right? And the big deal wasn't because he was playing swallow the leader. It was because he was literally lying under oath. That's the only thing that they got him with. Trump hasn't even been called up under oath, but they're already trying to talk about impeachment. And you can't draw any attention to this any other way than to say simply this. The only reason they're pushing for impeachment is simple because they lost in 2016. And that goes right back to you ran a crappy candidate. It's your fault.
Yeah. At this particular moment, if I was, God help me, if I was part of the Democratic Party, if I was kind of running the shots on where we go now, obviously I think he's got a great Trump's got a great foundation, leading just a great foundation. They obviously didn't find anything. Everybody's showing support towards him. He's growing momentum. He's working with them. But I would just stop trying to find holes in his campaign, and I would just try to apply that to actually grooming and finding a successful candidate to run. Your 2020, I don't think it's going to work out for you at all. Your 2024, I think that's what you should aim for. 2020, I doubt you're going to have anyone that's going to outshine him right now. Doubt it.
I agree.
At all. Yeah. 2024, you got 4 years to work with. You got 4 years to get that person just right.
And that may have been part of the mindset. You think about it like this, because it's very difficult to beat an incumbent, right?
Okay.
So maybe the Democrats were like, maybe they're thinking like at the DNC level, they're going, okay, we gotta rethink this whole strategy here. Okay, so obviously Hillary was probably not the best choice, and now Trump's going to be the incumbent, and incumbents almost always win. It's not the regular occurrence, but it does happen quite a bit to where the incumbent usually wins. So what are we going to do about? You know what? Let's just test the waters here. What if we just went as crazy as possible and just decided to see how many people would follow us?
A torch and burn, a scorched earth policy. You know, they're just poking holes in their own shit too, essentially.
Well, that way, when we come back in 2024, we actually seem viable and normal again, even though they're still further to the left than they ever were before. Mm-hmm. They've gone in 2020 so far to the left, so extreme, that by coming back to the right even a little bit, it makes them seem somewhat sane.
Yeah, I think that's our major downfall right now, is the craziness. You got a good point on the craziness. But like I said, I would try to do the 2024 election. You know, it got me thinking, like, what if hypothetically, I want you to work with me here.
Everybody, grab your seat.
Time to grab your big boy thinking hats.
All right, I'm going to work with you. What do you got?
Like, remember a couple of years ago where Wells Fargo went through that random, they were signing people up for credit cards and stuff, and then they got in a lot of trouble and they got sued for money.
Okay.
So Wells Fargo launched this ad campaign saying born in 17-something, reborn 2019.
Yes, I do remember that.
Pretty much they were showing that we got rid of all them bad things.
Yeah. Okay.
And we're reborn stronger for you. It's a bank. So you get what if the Democratic Party did something like that?
And that's
spent the next 4 years cleaning up and essentially ousting their own people. So they're like, hi, I'm Bob. I'm the new Democratic whatever. And, Frank over there has really just been crazy. He doesn't support all of us. And then he's just cutting the chaff out. So people are seeing that, oh, he got rid of Frank. That means that Frank was real crazy. He was trying to impeach Trump. That was really bad, And so he's like, they're getting rid of all these people. So, and the thing is, you don't have to do a lot of that, of make it look like you're doing good for people being like, oh, he's doing great. They're doing good. They're coming back, And essentially, you know what I'm saying? You kind of run I guess, I don't know what you call it, an ad campaign to show that the Democratic Party has cleaned up its act and we've become more sane.
Actually, it makes a lot of sense. This is not an uncommon playbook when you I'm going to go nerdy here for a second. All right. I know this is you'll appreciate this to a degree, even because I don't do a whole lot of nerdy stuff, but even I know that the best way to make Superman the best comic in the world is to kill Superman and then bring him back.
that's a great example. I'm so proud. I'm not crying.
And the crowd goes wild.
Yay.
Is that? But
but yeah,
does that not make perfect sense, right? Where you take it to such an extreme level, and then you're like, oh, okay, well, we accidentally killed the party, or we've ruined the party, or whatever the hell, and it actually becomes like long-term 4D chess, where they're saying, okay, this is where the party is actually going, but we need to go really extreme for a while so that we can come back to some semblance of normalcy. And then when people get used to us, we can start slowly moving back towards the crazy.
Yeah. I think if I think they need to change the faces out, because right now a lot of those faces on the Democratic Party are automatically related to crazy.
Bernie Sanders.
Nancy Pelosi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Nancy Pelosi. Yeah.
Yep. She's like an 83-year-old alcoholic. She can't even keep her eyes straight.
Hey, but don't worry. When she goes to the border, what was it? When we were having the border crisis back like 5 years ago, with all those people crammed in the border patrol, and she's like, I see all this potential. Like, all I'm imagining is border patrol agents being like, "That's a humanity. We don't have the staff for this. What?"
Doesn't make it look. Nancy, do you know that guy came with like half an ounce of cocaine in his butt?
Yeah.
That's not potential. That's a criminal.
Definitely. Yeah, I'd say definitely. I get rid of her and put a new face on it. Have some like random senators, Democratic senators, not AOC, because she went crazy really, really quick.
Oh, I think she's done.
Out of nowhere. I don't. Sorry, you got a little too intense. I respect her, the energy she's bringing to it,
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll give it to you. Like, she's like, we got to do this. But energy doesn't really count for much if you're trying to pass something that is total crap.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Let me throw this at you here, because this actually segues really nicely into something else that I wanted to talk about. Alexander,
I planned that.
Huh?
I planned it that way.
I don't believe you. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Strategery. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is one of those like she's I'm seeing a one-hit wonder here, and I'll explain why.
Yeah. Okay.
So the people of New York who elected her, which, whatever, I don't know what you guys were smoking. You must have been crazy to elect a 28-year-old bartender to Congress, but that's fine.
That means I have a chance.
You got a chance, Bill. We all have a chance.
So you're saying there's a chance.
There's a chance. You probably have to run as a Democrat, though. You're nowhere. There's no sane Republican that's going to vote for you.
Can you just imagine that? Be like the new Democratic chairman. I just show up, rip my suit off. It's got a Republican across the chest. Psych out. I'm a Republican. That's not how that works.
Dare you?
Yes, it is.
That's how it works now. So Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she got elected to Congress, right? And then shortly thereafter, Amazon decided it wanted to move a new headquarters into New York. It would have brought something like 20,000 jobs, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, big deal. Really big deal.
Wow.
So,
yeah, 20,000 jobs, big.
That's a lot of jobs, right? Amazon is a juggernaut. You want Amazon in your city. So she took a stand against it. Not only did she take a stand against it, but she literally attacked Amazon over it. Not literally, but politically. She politically attacked Amazon, saying, no, we're not just going to give you money to come here. Okay. Now, what she's saying, again, bear in mind, she's a 28-year-old bartender. What she's saying is Amazon shouldn't get a tax break to be able to operate in New York. Okay. Economics 101. Let this kick in here for a second. Let's talk about some common sense.
Hit me with it, because I'm kind of wondering. Hit me with it.
So Amazon is going to bring 20,000 jobs into New York City or New York State or whatever, wherever that. I don't even know the exact location they were planning, but let's say they brought it into New York City. Okay. Now in New York City, there is a city income tax, a state income tax, and then the federal income tax. So you've got a generation of income tax on all three levels because 20,000 jobs were just added to the market. That means that the city, state, and feds would all be getting a piece of the pie by Amazon moving in. So why would I want Amazon to move in if they're just going to avoid paying taxes? Well, because, dummy, you still get income tax from all of that. You still get budgeted for all of that. And oh, by the way, yes, New York City actually charges people income tax. So you're paying at the city level, the state level, and then the federal level.
Oh,
so, and I was talking about a little bit about this earlier, and I actually looked it up. And now I don't have any concrete numbers on this, but somebody on a Quora forum actually posted this, and so I'm going to cite this person, and I'm not going to put their name out there because, good God, I'll probably get sued. Who knows? But somebody was asking, how exactly do taxes work in New York City? So you live in the city, you pay taxes to the city, state, blah, 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 like I was just talking about. So this person's response, somebody who actually lived in New York City, in 2010, they said there's nothing much to explain. Both New York State and New York City have a progressive income tax with tax brackets ranging from 4 to 6.85% and 3 to 4% respectively.
Oh boy.
If you earn $100,000 in New York and you are single, you'll end up paying 6% of your gross income in state income taxes, 3.5% of your gross income in city tax, and also including federal income tax and Social Security, Medicare, etc., you'll take home $63,000 out of your $100,000. So that right there is a 37% effective tax rate.
All right, I'm just going to say it. And you know my policy on taxes. All right, I'm all for paying a build roads tax as long as there's roads getting built, you know?
Sure.
You know, but, you know, at some point, you're looking at the bill and you're like, what is all of this? You know, it's weird. It doesn't make sense. And that was one of the things that when Trump first came in, remember, he changed the economy. Everybody everywhere got like a bonus and a raise because he changed the tax on a lot of stuff. I remember at Sam's Club, we all got a bonus. Like we only get one annual bonus, but they gave us another annual bonus because all the taxes had been changed. And they're like, yeah, and they weren't shy. They're like, because Trump changed it.
Yep,
Trump changed it. We saved a bunch of money, and I think I got like $300 extra because I was a part-time associate.
You were relatively new back then too, weren't you? You'd been there for a little while, I guess.
I think I had been there for about 4 years. But at that time, you know, I got like a 300. There are people who have been there for like 20 years. They got like $1,000.
Yeah.
You know, and it was just, that was one of the things. It was one of that right there was the first time I had seen a president say something, and he did it where I can see it. I see it. And me, you know me, I don't go looking for this stuff. I'm not as in depth as y'all. You know, if I see a problem, I'm going to be like, what's the problem?
Sure.
But like that was like, I saw that clear as day. And that's what kind of won me over with that, him reforming the tax.
Yeah.
This whole thing they got in New York, that's weird. That's why I don't visit New York. They're weird.
So obviously where you're located makes a difference, right? You know, we live in the great state of Texas. We don't have a state income tax because the state the state understands that there's other ways to generate revenue besides stealing it from people. And so they get it. It's like, okay, no, our economy flows a lot better when we just don't tax people to death. When we put we still have a sales tax, right? We can't get around that. We still have property taxes. Most people can't get around that unless you're a disabled vet, or a rancher, or you have some livestock, or blah blah blah. I'm not going to go into that. We've talked about that in another podcast. But there's something that's beautiful that takes place here in Texas that you don't see in too many states. In fact, I think a good majority of the states actually do have an income tax. I think there's only like 13 that don't. And what's beautiful about it is we do still have the sales tax, but by putting the sales tax in place, you actually control how much tax you pay. Let me draw you a picture here, right?
I like pictures.
I know you do. So we got let's say I got a 42-inch TV in my room, right? You've
Okay.
seen it, you've used it, it's cool, it works. There's nothing fancy
Sure.
about it, but it works. Now, if I take that 42-inch TV and I drop it, well, then my thought process is like, great, now I have to replace my TV. So
Okay.
my first thought process is like, well, I don't really want to pay a whole lot of money for a brand new TV, so I might just go visit some of the pawn shops, right? Right there. If I go and I look at a TV in a pawn shop versus a TV that's brand new in the box, I just controlled my effective tax rate just by cutting the price in half by going to a pawn shop. Okay.
Oh,
So
wow. I didn't know
it's
that.
8.25% tax. Sales tax. It's everybody pays it in Texas. That's what it is in your area and my area. It's 8.25%. So
Okay.
you go by the same logic. Let's say you go to buy a brand new video game, the new freaking Fallout or whatever, something comes out, right? I know we all love Fallout. So let's say a new Fallout comes out and you're like, well, I'm going to go buy it. And it's brand new at the store for $60. Okay.
Okay.
Plus 8.25% tax. Well, if I'm patient and I don't have to play the new Fallout right away, I can control one, how much I spend on the game, because somebody's going to they're going to get tired of it. They're going to be like, it's not for me. So they'll put it on eBay or Amazon or whatever, and then they'll sell it. And I can pick it up at maybe half the price if I'm lucky. And if it's local, then I only pay 8.25% on $30 rather than $60. And that's a rough example. So you can effectively control your tax rate by the way that you purchase goods and services.
Where you go for it and stuff.
That's called voting with your dollars.
Oh, wow.
So
I didn't know that.
I effectively control my tax rate by staying the hell out of New York City. Let that sink in for a second. Now, because we've got all these different locations, some people do have to live in New York City, or they like it up there or whatever. They're willing to pay a premium to live there. Okay. Because that's their perspective, is New York City is a premium location. I would wholeheartedly disagree for many different reasons, but my mind doesn't work the same way that theirs does. So
whatever floats their boat, I guess.
Right. So they're willing to go up there and pay that 37% effective tax rate. I'm sorry. If I earn $100,000 in a year and you take $37,000 of it, what's my motivation to keep working?
Yeah. And housing up there is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't.
$100,000 isn't going to go very far in New York City, by the way, even in 2010.
$100,000 here will go amazingly.
Yeah. Your dollar stretches a lot further.
Oh, it's great. If I was making $100,000 a year, be buying property left and right.
Yeah, you could, because you can buy property for $100,000 here.
I could live cheaply, and I could just buy a property.
Yeah, and it's not complicated. It's just that we don't tax our businesses to death, and we manage budgets a little bit better. Now, granted, we still have issues. Everybody does, but it's a
state. Yeah.
But so all of that, right? That's New York City in a nutshell. So we take all of that and we go right back to the Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who is all about the big high tax rates, and Amazon's not going to get away with not paying tax. Well, listen, dingus, this is so simple. This is such a simple concept that even a bartender from Bronx can figure this out. If you have a company that comes in and you give them the incentive to not be taxed to death, and they employ 20,000 people, and you're pulling, let's say you're pulling in an average of, I don't know, people making $70,000 a year at Amazon, because that would be that's viable, right? Or let's be even more. Let's use our $100,000 example, right?
Okay.
So you got $100,000 income for an average of 20,000 people. Okay. That's your Amazon employment. And then you get that 37% effective tax rate on every one of those people pulling in that average of $100,000. Hello. Are you doing the math here? 20,000 times 37,000 per year. And you're crying about Amazon not paying a certain tax.
How much would they be? How much would that tax that she's crying about? How much would that tax be?
I think it was, I don't know. I don't have the number in front of me. I think it was somewhere around the 30 million range.
It seems like that would be covered with the
Oh, it would.
income tax.
The only problem
city,
is I'm
federal,
not
state.
100% sure whether that was the exact number.
Well, careful with that dangerous thinking of getting facts and making sure everything's straight before you go ahead and presuming and making assumptions.
Well, yeah, I know it's crazy. So let's say,
What are you CNN?
I'm sorry. So if you had that $37,000, now granted that $37,000 doesn't all go just to the city or the state, some of it goes to the feds. But let's just look at this effective tax rate here overall. So you got 37,000 times, what did I say, 20,000 employees?
Yeah, 20,000 employees.
Okay, so that's $740 million that the government would have been absorbing in on taxes.
Is she retarded?
Yes, she is.
Yeah.
That's not even up for debate.
Man, yeah, that's a like I don't understand with some of the stuff she's doing. Yeah, she's just weird. She's just weird. I don't even know really where to start on going on like talking about her. She's I think with her, a lot of people were like, we want something better, we want something new, and it was kind of like a Hitler thing, how Hitler kind of came into power was Germany was already messed up, and then they're like, this guy was like, I can fix it, and everybody was like, he can fix it, and they just kind of all went with him, and he did some good for them for a minute, for a while, and all of a sudden, then it's like, boom, World War II.
Mhm.
But I think that's what they're kind of doing with her. She's like, I can fix this and help this, and I could change everything, and then they threw the equal equality. I can do a man's job. Hey, we're not judging you on you're a woman. We're just judging you because you're retarded. I mean, like, well,
I mean, it's true. She can do a man's job. Anybody can do any job they want to if they've got the skills and the abilities and the knowledge. It's not about man versus woman in the first place. Most people make it about that, and that's that's a part of the ridiculousness is they're so eager to dig in and blame somebody else. It's the patriarchy, or the system is rigged against me, or you know what? No, how about if you just change your freaking perspective and just go, maybe the system's not actually rigged against me. Maybe I'm just sitting around bitching too much.
Maybe I'm just an idiot.
That's very likely.
Yeah, like I think she was just a lot of people were wanting something different, and here she comes talking really good and high and mighty, and all of a sudden, they're thinking she can change the world, and they're voting for her, and she came in. And I think the next election, I want to say, they'll learn their lesson, they'll put someone better in, but we've seen people be dumber and dumber than that, and they probably elect her again.
Probably. Well, yeah, I know you wouldn't. We'll just have to see. I can't imagine there's any unions that are backing her up right now. So there's another thing, because we haven't had quite enough of stupid yet. Mm-hmm. The federal government is getting into YouTube.
Automatically, you said that, I think of the USSR. That's the United Soviet States of Russia, Soviet Union.
Thank you.
The state ran the media and the propaganda. I feel like that's just going to be some Democrats trying to make themselves look good, and
I don't know that this is necessarily a Democrat thing. This is
I don't like state run. I just don't. I don't. As soon as like I said, my mind just went to the Soviet era propaganda. In Nazi propaganda.
So let me put your mind at ease just a tad. Okay, right, so this is called COPPA, COPPA, or the the Children Online Privacy something. Where is it at?
Come on, Jeremy. Jeez, what kind of podcaster are you?
COPPA, or the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, something that's been implemented by the Federal Trade Commission. So whenever the FTC comes in, you know that things are about to get dumb. So this one comes from Variety, and I'm citing Variety because I don't know why I'm doing it. I'm citing Variety because I don't know. And so anyway, so here's what the article says. YouTube creators worried and confused over new kid video COPPA rules, potential fines. YouTube starting this month is requiring all creators, regardless of location and whether or not they produce content intended for children, to designate whether their videos are made for kids, and many YouTubers are concerned that this new rule will hurt their monetization or even expose them to fines if their content is mislabeled. The change is the result of the YouTube's $170 million settlement with the Federal Trade Commission and the New York Attorney General for alleged violations of the U.S. Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, COPPA. The law prohibits internet companies from collecting data from kids that are 13 years old and under, and YouTube has been accused of violating the law. YouTube is putting the onus on creators to comply with COPPA. If you fail to set your audience accurately, you may face compliance issues with the FTC or other authorities, and we may take action on your YouTube account, according to YouTube's Help Center document on the topic. Creators are now subject to potential fines for running afoul of COPPA. According to the FTC, the law allows for civil penalties up to $42,530 per violation, according to the agency. However, the FTC considers a number of factors in determining the appropriate amount, including a company's financial conditions and the impact of the penalty would have on its ability to stay in business, as per a November 22nd blog post. This COPPA, I can't say that. That's bad language right there. So here's where the danger lies. If you have videos that appeal to children, and, they're bright colors, flashy, cartoony types, or whatever, you have to basically acknowledge that those videos are intended for children, right? Okay, so hold on, it gets deeper. So where the danger in all that is you're not technically allowed to, gather information on children under the age of 13, according to COPPA. And that means that if you can't gather that information, you can't put advertisements on your videos. So if you normally appeal to children in your videos, like, oh, hey, look, this is my little Star Wars Lego set, whatever, and here's all the pieces and blah, blah, blah. That's clearly something that appears to children or appeals to children. Excuse me. So you can still put the video up there. You just have to make sure, one, that it's obvious that it's in compliance with COPPA. And I've done this already with some of our videos because we don't produce kid-friendly nothing. And so we're relatively safe as far as all that goes. But if you register a video as directed for children, then you basically lose a bunch of your monetization because they can't advertise towards children because they can't use the information that they gather to show the ads. So there's a lot of YouTubers that are really scared now because they're like, well, my channel appeals to children. And so there's one side of it. The other side of it is the possibility of being fined for not being in compliance with COPPA. So what that essentially does is it says, okay, you uploaded this video and you said that it's not for that it's for children, or that it's not for children, or whatever. Well, then basically the FTC gets the final call and they say, yeah, we disagree with you. So, or worse, YouTube, because they're going to protect their butt no matter what. Worse, YouTube will just shut your channel down because they don't think that the content that you're actually producing is for children, or basically they're the main arbiter because they don't want to get fined again. So if you have a YouTube channel and it remotely appeals to children, then sorry,
you're SOL.
Yeah,
that just seems. I mean, like what's defined as appealed to children?
That's
like
a
as a
good
child,
question,
I
right?
liked history. I liked history as a child, so I mean, like now,
So there's
history channels are kind of under siege by this now. Oops.
So there's a couple of different things about it. So no, like the History Channel, basically, I guess their stuff is going to be meant for adults because a good majority of people are going to look at it and they're going to be like, no, come on, no kid is really interested in World War II, and you might have been, but the good majority of them, they're going to use discretion to that, and they're going to be like, that's for adults, or political stuff, right? So like we talk a lot about politics. Like we just talked about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. How many 9-year-olds do you know that know who AOC is, really?
Doesn't your kids know who they are?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't talk about AOC to my kids. Good God. So I mean, so we're in this weird phase right now where everybody is worried about their content on YouTube again. So the advertising, they went through this once before with the adpocalypse. Now the advertising methods and means are probably going to change yet again. And now with these new advertising rules and means in place, the advertisers are going to rethink this whole thing. Like, okay, so we don't want to be part of this whole violation with COPPA. So we're going to just shift and we're going to start targeting people who are nice and legal, right? So targeting adults. But the weird thing is, this is where I kind of draw a really strange line in the sand, because if you go back and you look at regular TV, talking about the cable company, you turn on the TV and you're watching Dish or you're watching Cox Cable or whatever, and say the kid likes pro wrestling, so he's watching pro wrestling. Well, what advertisements are going to be geared towards people who watch pro wrestling?
Beer.
Okay, sure. Beer or sodas or candy bars or chips. So
I don't know.
Those people have every right to advertise at their specific targeted group.
Yeah.
But because of the Children's Online Protection Privacy Act or whatever, what COPPA, because of COPPA, they can't do the same thing on the internet level. So politicians are getting involved and they're saying, well, we have to protect the children. Excuse me.
That's, yeah.
Politicians, sorry, not you. Excuse me, politicians. I'm the parent. Why don't you let me decide what's best for my kids? How about that?
Mm-hmm.
You think that I can't just go in there and create a YouTube account and then put 18 or older for my kid if I want to? Legislation doesn't stop me from doing that.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
I was just going to say that's kind of one of the things I was worried about with the government getting involved in it. They're going to put on these restrictions, and I feel like I feel like it's kind of,
when government gets involved, the things that happen are never the intended.
Yeah, I feel like it's just it's going to be one of those things, a little bit here and a little bit there and a little bit here and a little bit here. And then look, the state now owns YouTube. Like,
yeah, that's a good parallel.
I feel like, it could be one of those things. And so typically that's why whenever you had first mentioned, I was like, okay, what are we in Russia? Like, that was why I kind of because whenever the state kind of gets involved in it, just a little bit, pretty soon, now we give them an inch, they'll take a mile.
So let me explain how this affects you, because it does. You know that, right? Yes, this affects you. A lot of the stuff that you watch on YouTube. Let me give you an example. Neebs Gaming is one of your favorite YouTube channels, right?
Represent.
No, Neebs Gaming is a gaming channel.
Big fan, guys.
Right? But because they're a gaming channel, the FTC can now say, well, they're geared towards children. So
they can.
No advertising.
Because they play Minecraft.
Right. So what happens if Neebs Gaming all of a sudden loses their ability to advertise? Well, they
can't keep it up.
They can't keep doing YouTube. Or they have to find another way to monetize their stuff. One of the two.
Yeah. That is.
So where's the give and where's the take? What are we going to do? So quite simply, when the government starts injecting anything, it screws everything up.
And I guarantee you, it's some old person that's calling these shots for this that has no idea about a gaming culture, a video game, and YouTube culture.
Oh, without a doubt. Did you see
They
the
don't.
when Mark Zuckerberg went in front of Congress and they were like, how is it that you get information from people? And he's like, Senator, they put it into our system. They tell us who they are.
Doy, like
What's to stop me from getting you to reach through my webcam and slap me out? That's not
Nothing?
physically possible, Senator. So, anyways, COPPA's for some. Okay, there's a lot of people who really don't have any reason to be worried. Our stuff is not intended for children, right? So for us, it's like we're sitting. There's two jackasses sitting here talking into a microphone. What kid's going to want to listen to all this political BS and this jargon? Probably not a whole lot. And anybody who is actually interested in some of the stuff that we're talking about, what's our demographics? Probably going to be like the 20s and the 30s and the 40s. It's not kids, right? So for us, I mean, it's really nothing to worry about until the government comes along and injects something else that messes with our channel. But the fact is they're meddling with a lot of people's ability to make money.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be terribly surprised to see a couple of channels one day just disappear.
Yeah, that sounds. I mean, like, so, like, a lot of people would have to change a lot of the ways they do things if this kind of keeps going down this road. And they decide to put more, like, a lot of things. So, I mean, what is that like? So they have to watch their speech essentially.
No, quite the opposite. Quite the opposite. I think that the natural response, and I'm gonna cite somebody that I heard earlier. His name is Tim Pool. He's got a YouTube channel and he does a lot of political commentary. And he made a really excellent point that if you want to make sure that your stuff is obviously not for children, then you have to start off your videos with something that is very clearly not for children, and then go into the actual content. So
pretty much we start the video, someone drops an F-bomb.
Yeah. Something along those lines. Yo, totally not for effing kids. So take your bitch ass out and go do something else. This is for adults.
Yeah,
right? And I get it. The FTC can probably see through that. It's not like it's a huge freaking mirage. It's not that difficult to see that would be what they're doing. But they've got to do something to respond to this if they want to be able to allow their channels to survive.
Yeah. Man, that really kind of sucks. It's kind of, I feel like
kind of pisses you off, doesn't it?
They're approaching that line. You know, I feel like it's gonna. I'm kind of like annoyed right now by it, but I feel like a couple of years down the road, I'd be really pissed off about it. You know, because I feel like we're close, we're at that line again, where we're kind of floating over that line where you're like, hey, you're kind of putting some weird rules for, some, like this. You're telling me how to telling me how to control my channel. This is my money. This is my enterprise. This is mine. And essentially, the government's coming in, and that's, again, when you first mentioned it, I was like, okay, I'll bump the brakes here. I want to chill for a minute. That's why I was like, yeah, because again, you give them a minute, they're gonna take a mile, and it sounds stupid already just because it came from the government.
And listen, the invention of the internet when it first came along, like it was freaking phenomenal. There was really no, like, people are discovering their full potential of everything that they could like what can we do with this? We can, like, eBay. Do you think the founder of eBay ever thought that 40 years ago there would be a website where you click on things and bid on them just like that? No, nobody ever had that idea until the internet came along. Nope. You've created a whole new level of commerce, and now you're about to drop a big old dookie bomb right in the middle of it and slowly erode away at all of the freedoms that have been established because of the internet. And that's a scary thing.
You think if this goes down any further, we're going to see like an infringement of the First Amendment?
I think if they push, because anytime that the government does anything, if they push too hard, too fast, yeah, somebody's gonna file a lawsuit and it's gonna be a
Yeah.
big deal. But as with most anything the government does, everything moves at a snail's pace. And I think that a good majority of people really aren't going to care all that much. And they're going to be like, that's not my problem. It doesn't affect me. But then one day something will come along that will affect you. And then you'll have to deal with it. I don't know where this COPPA thing is going to go. Right.
I think it's dumb.
It's the government, man. I mean, COPPA is not a new thing. This was established like in the 90s. But they're only now really pushing on it because of children are using YouTube. Which is YouTube going to change? I don't know. I'm gonna still use it the way that I've been using it because we're not doing anything to affect the children. Think of the children. Think of the children.
Yeah,
think of the children.
Well, they could think before they get on YouTube.
You know what? You know what I think the children should do?
Oh boy,
some freaking push-ups.
Oh, nerds, you jabronis. The Rock, baby.
All right. Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. Bye, Bill.
Deuces.